Welcome to the CEN show, where we present the voice of the community. The CommunityEducationNetwork.com is a platform to aid the effort of self and collective improvement. In your investigative or spare time, visit the website to participate in the forum to express your thoughts. Tonight's topic is a discussion related to the movie Invasions of the Body Snatchers. Tonight's guest is comedian, actor, and impressionist PB Smiley. This is Brother Smiley's third visit to the show, and his content is very informative and his entertainment is exceptional. Welcome, Brother Smiley. How are you? And can you
I'm excellent.
How you doing, man? Can you tell us a little bit more about yourself, dude?
Oh yeah, man. Now that everything's opening up, I got booked on a few shows. I got a tour that we're gonna start in late August. But I don't feel no different. I don't feel any different now that stuff is open. I don't feel no different. You know, I'm just ready to, to get my kids more acclimated to realizing you do know you can go outside, because they seem to believe they would stay up here and play the video game all day.
So can you tell us a little bit more about that tour? What tour are you talking about?
Oh, it's called Barely Tall Enough Tour. Everybody on the tour, barely tall enough. Everybody about 5 foot, man. We some pygmies.
Okay. So when does that start?
We out in Sacramento on the 25th of August. And then we're in, I got to look at the other dates. It's 2 more dates.
What about here in Southern Cal?
Well, we're trying to get that one sometime around the later holidays. But though we have 3 lined up, those other 2, I don't know the actual, it's in California, but it won't be like in the LA County.
Okay, well, hopefully I'll be able to see that. At least if I can't go to it, I can get be able to see it some type of way.
Yeah, I'll keep you informed on when it keeps the momentum keeps coming.
Okay, good. So okay, now tell us about the invasion of the body snatcher and how it relates to what's going on today.
I love it. The original film was done in 1956. They did like 4 remakes. And the one that I'm talking about, 1978, with Kiefer Sutherland. When you see the movie, depending on what is the type of movies you watch, you may assume based off the title or whatever department you find that film in, you might ease back off of it if you're not into science fiction. If you're into science fiction, you watch it and you're assuming it's about science fiction, aliens and all this kind of stuff. That's the entertainment of it. But at the core of it is talking about a consciousness being intercepted. And we're living in that day and time where I'll just give a briefing of it so people have never saw the movie. It's about these particular bacterial pods come from a different planet. And what they begin to do is they land in the United States and they begin to have spores, and the spores jump into and onto people. And what they do is it clones them and they remove the original person. And now you have the clone from the bacteria alien form. Now, that's all that's dealing with some spookiness. Now, here's the reality of it is, once the old person is gone, their humanity is gone, their reasoning is gone, their creativity is gone, and their love is gone. They don't have any of those emotions. They are functioning now, what you would consider a robot. Mm-hmm. That's what we're in right now. These last 18 months have created, I know people who have lost their mind. I'm being serious. I know people who have their creativity have deteriorated since what you call the pandemic. They don't hug you as much. Remember, you're not allowed to touch anybody in the social distancing. And the same thing in that film, you was not allowed to show any humanity once the spores made contact with the body and destroyed the original. Now the new individual, the new entity, work in a sequence of doing things all together. Anybody that gets out of line, their goal was to manipulate them and turn them into them. That's what we're dealing with right now. If I don't think like this guy, if you don't think like this guy over here, we gotta make you conform. We'll find a way to get you to do it. We'll come up with some type of we talk about that later, but we come up with some type of spectacle in the medical arena. And then if you don't do it, look, something's wrong with you. Remember in that film, those two individuals who didn't become susceptible to the transformation, they were the ones that everybody was pointing their finger at. Get them, get them. That's where we're at right now. Yeah, it had nothing to do with no aliens. I wasn't even on that.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought it was interesting.
Yeah.
Some of the things that came up. And I noticed right at the end, Keith Southern, he got taken over at the end. And it was just one lady that didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's symbolism tied into that. That's their way of poking fun, saying you're eventually going to go along with it. You're eventually going to do it because everybody else is doing it. But remember, before they got turned into this, one of my favorite actors, Leonard Nimoy, when he was injecting them with a serum to make them go to sleep. There go the symbolism right there. We live in a state where everybody uses the term, man, I'm woke, I'm woke. Well, in that film, in order for these pods to get you, you have to go to sleep. That's symbolism saying, close your eyes to what's going on in reality. And then when you wake up, you'll be just like everybody else. And then he told them one of the things that you won't have anymore. He said, you won't be afraid of anything. You won't have this, you won't have this. And Keith Sutherland and the lady never responded until they said, what? You won't have love. There will be no need for love. And then what did they start chanting? I love you, I love you, I love you. I want to touch on that right quick outside of the movie. Love has been talked about in a way which is corny. If you say I love you, I got to either know you, I got to know how you meant it, I got to know, are you talking to me? And if I'm a male and I have a female friend that I befriended over, let's say it was 5 to 6 month span. And if I say, girl, I'll see you tomorrow, I love you. She'll say, I wondered, how did he mean that? Love has been dirtied up so cold that you can look this up. I'd read an article, NASA was doing some experiments and one of their articles stated that love is a fact. Love is scientific. You see? So now let's go back to the film. They want you to get the love out of your heart. You don't want no love. But even Che Guevara said that love is what fuels the revolution. But when I say love, I wrote this on Facebook and I got clowned for it. I said, no fraternity, no sorority, no voodoo, no witchcraft, no hate can stop you if you got love in your heart. Somebody said, man, did you take your Prozac today? I got clowned for that. But they don't know what I mean when I say love. They think love is some sort of attachment emotionally or desire. Oh, she's attractive. I get sexually aroused by her. Now I fall in love. No, I'm gonna share this with the people that I shared with you over the phone before. If they say, well, what does it look like, Smiley? Love looks like this. You take a lioness and the plainlands of Africa, and she has cubs. I've witnessed, and if you watched it, you witnessed lioness will fight tooth and nail to protect her cubs, period. Will fight tooth and nail. Once that cub, a male cub, reaches a certain age, she will almost demonstrate violent activity upon him to get him to go away. And then you'll say, well, I thought she loved him. She loved him so much that she made sure she did not intercept his cycle of life of becoming a fulfilled male lion. That's love. Humans, I'd be shocked to know 60% of us know what real love is. We base it off, you hit me, or you hit my child. Don't hit my child. Why not say don't hit that child? Why is it all about, it's about how you feel? So I wanted to tie that in because the body snatchers, tons of these people's bodies have been snatched, man. You got friends for 30 years. You look up at them ever since this 18-month thing. That ain't the same person no more. He don't got no love. His taste in music has changed. His happiness is like, I thought you was cool. No, I'm cool, man. Well, man, you used to hang out and read and build on this and 5% this, the Hebrew Israel like that. Oh man, I'm cool. This pandemic has destroyed the core of people. That's why I wanted people to watch the movie. It had nothing to do with aliens.
Well, one thing that stood out to me when it came to the restrictions when we first experienced in the pandemic, they said you're only allowed to do essential things only. And I spoke about this before. And how come as people, we're doing things that are not essential? So that kind of set with me. I'm like, okay, well, in my practicality, that's what I aim to do aim to do in the first place is to be essential.
Yeah.
So when I think about it personally, the things that I was doing before the pandemic, I was doing during, and now things are starting to open up. I'm still doing the same things because I base my life off of being essential.
Yeah.
So I think the people that maybe made some changes is because maybe they were living a superficial life in the first place. But that's just a thought, So you want me to go around the panel and right now and let them ask a question or make a comment?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, brother doctor.
I mean, Rob.
Brother doctor, where are you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Interesting. I've seen the movie. Yeah, that's a long time ago, and it brings back some memories. But yeah, kind of like that take. But one thing I want to add, man, I just noticed when all these vaccines start going out, man, people just start acting crazy. A lot of shootings right after all these vaccines. Everybody got vaccinated. Shootings start happening everywhere. People just start doing crazy stuff, man. And I'm not saying the people that got vaccinated was doing it, but it just seemed kind of odd, man. As soon as the vaccines went out, everything started acting kind of crazy, like you were saying. Things got different, man. I don't know if it's because of the lockdown, but as soon as everything started opening up, because everybody got vaccinated, things started getting kind of crazy out there, man.
Can I add on that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Sure, yeah.
Okay, now, doctor, you commented on the fact that you did see the movie. Okay, is the funny part is you brought you how can I say it? You touched on something I wanted to touch on, but I wanted to get whatever I got out. That was perfect because you received it perfectly. Now, you mentioned the vaccines in that movie. This is not made up. This is in the film. In the film, they tell everyone to come get a particular pod. A pod is the thing so-called outer space, look like a big plant. And what happens is the pod gets into their immune system and they change. Do you know that they had the audacity to put this in the film? In the movie, it said it on national TV inside the movie. Come down to the CDC and get this. It was a vaccine. People was lined up to get it, similar to what we see in real life. Then if I point that out, you're conspiracy theorists. I'm pointing out what they put in their film that's mirroring what me and you going through today. It's in the movie. It wasn't even mandatory. People were lining up to do it, like we're doing today. And a change began to come. And it wasn't the Sam Cooke change. It was another change coming.
Wow. Okay. Okay, Brother Machinda said he has no comment. All right. All right. Professor Rock.
Johnny, brother, always good to hear you and always good to hear your analysis. You're a deep thinker. And one thing about artists, they see what a lot of people don't see. I mean, comedians see stuff that's funny that other people don't know, and they make a whole show around it, because that's how deep you are. What they call theater arts, literature, acting, painting, all of that is a part of liberation. So you can paint the moon purple. You can, in a poem, you can say, that the sun fell down, to earth. So I understand how deep you can go to the movies and you can see what other people don't see based upon your history of being a deep thinker and being one to see things from a creative standpoint, because as a comedian, you have to be creative in many ways. I haven't seen the movie. And I very, man, I have to go all the way back in my childhood to remember when I go to the movies other than with my wife, and she loves movies.
Right.
And 80% of the time I go to the movies, it's not to get a message.
Okay.
Or to see some type of, because to me, the whole world is a stage.
Yes.
And from a psychological standpoint, most people is just role playing. And a lot of the roles they take on are roles that they see on TV or in life. Like I said, I used to, I used to think I was Superfly. I had a spoon on my neck. I went and got a Cadillac. I had lost my mind. But in the daytime, I was Malcolm X. So my point is, brother, that love is a deep word that has been abused, as you was pointing out.
Yeah.
Sometimes people use it to game. Some people misrepresent it, but the attachment feelings toward a person or entity or whatever, may be your pet, may be your children, may it be those emotional ties generally come out when they're missing, when they're hurt, and when you can make them, and you feel good when you make them feel good.
Yeah.
Or when you protect them. So that's a mutual appreciation for the best, for that, what you love and what you care for.
Yeah.
When we look at movies and we get a symbolism, and I appreciate it because I know a lot of people that go to movies and they come back like Roots, and they come back with when Spike Lee made Malcolm X and Do the Right Thing and all of those things. And a lot of people come back with serious messages.
Yeah.
And I appreciate it. And I appreciate your analysis of
Thank you.
body snatchers, equating it to today, where people are occupied with a virus and the virus took over their body. And at the same time, it's created a lot of conflict with regards to coming out of that and how it's being treated, getting the vaccine, as you say, the CDC and all of those things that people are going through. And the rise in crime is because more people are coming out. But if you go back to prior to the pandemic, the crime is higher than what it is right now. Because most of the high crime is just murder. But all the other crimes have went down. There's a little vandalism here and there, but most crimes have went down. But the point is that your deep thinking, and I want to hear more from you on this movie and what you got out of it from your creative thought and deep thought standpoint. I looked at Roots, and they had the Holocaust of enslavement where people had their own cabins, and there was some cruelty in it, but nothing like the cruelty that we really faced.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
And then the book, Alex Haley got sued 5 times because it was a historical novel. And people said he plagiarized it. And he had to make at least, out of those 5 times he was sued, he made 3 or 4 settlements. I mean, at least two to three settlements. The same thing, because most people say you could not trace your history back because of the myth of the breeding farms and the and the way they mixed you up, and your name may be Smith today and Johnson tomorrow, because whoever you became, whoever was your slave master, you took on that name. And in the breeding farms, they had brothers laying down with their sisters and brothers, sons laying down with their mamas. And so your brother may be your father and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
So my point is that, I want to hear some more, but I do think that love is a real entity.
Yeah.
As far as when it's authentic and when it's based upon the morality and the ethics. I don't know what the Body Snatchers is saying.
Yeah.
Because, white folks snatched our bodies out the continent of Africa.
Yeah.
And injected us with white-itis.
Yeah.
And it's a pandemic.
Yes.
And the only cure is blackness. And you need to get some black vaccine.
I love
white germ out you. But anyway, that's a different story.
I love it.
Different day. But go ahead, bro.
I love it. I'll stay on the love part because I want to share something with you dealing with back in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, where I'm from. Well, this was towards the end of the film. And when he's trying to, Leonard Nimoy, he's trying to give them this drug that will put them out and they'll go to sleep. And once they go to sleep, these pods will overtake them. He explained to them, you would not have to fear. So they didn't respond. You wouldn't have to worry about bitterness. They didn't respond. As soon as he said, and there would be no need for love. That's what ignited them to want to live. And I'm learning that we overused it. Well, it's misunderstood and it's overused. We sit and we do this because there's a situation in Wisconsin where the murder rate in the last 3 months, they've broken records. And this boy made the news. He was 15 years old. He killed a 19-year-old girl. 30 minutes later, killed his best friend because he was going to tell him. They showed him this is Milwaukee, Wisconsin. That's where I was born. They showed him in the courtroom from Zoom, and he was sitting there looking at everybody like this.
Oh, goodness.
And I couldn't believe what I was looking at. A week later, a 23-year-old man was murdered. 3 individuals were picked up. 2 of them was let go. One of them that may be charged is my first cousin. He's 19 years old. My aunties, my grandmama, not my grandma, my aunties and all my cousins. Let my son out. He ain't did that. He ain't did that. I don't blah, 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 cussing and all this and this and that. And I called him and said, he hasn't been found guilty of anything, but do you know that boy, the 23-year-old had 4 kids and he was a stapler in his kids' school. He used to go to their school and be the big father of the day. See, when you got true love, you wouldn't say, let my son out, and then you ain't thinking about this boy over here. What about their parents? We got a lot of work to do. And we hope my cousin didn't do it. But I'll save that part for the comedy stage, because I don't want to say that on here. See? And and I wanted to say we get caught up too many times. They race get us, man. They get us with this race. I'm never going to deny my affiliation with anything righteous first. Black, right? I'm that's beyond first. But I'm never gonna let them trick me into getting caught up in the story when I know it might not be about that. It might be you trying to agitate me. And I'm learning a lot of these news stories, man, are nothing but distractions. This young lady, I don't know her name. I apologize for not knowing her name. The sister that's breaking Flojo record, and they didn't let her in the Olympics. I'm not disrespecting.
Sha'Carri Richardson.
Sha'Carri Richardson. I just want to know, how is that a story? That doesn't mean I'm not interested in the sister being disrespected. I'm not. That's not my point. I just gave you two things that are actually stories. You ain't heard nothing about it. That really affects our community. That girl's going to be fine. That's not a story. So I'm saying we got to get to the point where we got to start looking at sensationalism and saying, you know what? Nice try, but I'm good. And then look at a story that ain't been looked at. The majority of the real stories are the ones that you got to read and find. Like, I didn't know that. What the? Those be the real stories. They keep giving us. Stories that, I mean, I can go on a list full of such and such. Rachel Nichols. She said this. She said that. What did you expect? You don't think that white woman talk like that? You don't think she talk like that? She talked like that with the microphone on, with the microphone off. Oh, did you hear what she said? I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. It's not a story, man. The story is my dang on kids won't get out the house. They don't know that they can leave. You know, if the pandemic locked down June 15th, I say, fellas, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that. They sitting in the room, don't even want to come out. They don't. I'm trying to get them to go run and do some calisthenics. They want to play the game. They've gotten so used to being in the house that they don't even want to participate. And I could be at fault for some of that. I don't know. If I'm to blame, I'll accept it. I took them to the park. What was it, about a month ago? They went to they sat on the bench and said, "What are we gonna do now?" Where's the creativity? They don't want to run. They don't want to tackle each other. They want to be on this thing right here and do this. So I have parents, if you listen, we got a job to do too. We gotta work overtime, you know, because yeah.
Okay, Brother Hembrick, any comment or question for PB?
Late, so I don't know exactly as far as the going outside and playing, not just kids, but all our people need to be out there in nature.
Thank you.
That's what we're about. That's where things are. It teaches things we need to know is nature. And then the physical activity, we definitely need that. We can just look at our health across the country and see that that's definitely something that's needed. Like I say, this millennium generation seems as though they're just hung up on those thumbs, working those devices. And matter of fact, my daughter used to do that. My oldest daughter used to do that faster than anybody I've ever seen. I like, is there any jobs that hire people for being able to do that?
Right.
Just tell me nothing. So, and then even her son, my grandson, who is now 21, he used to be on there doing football. So I grabbed him by his shoulders one time and brought him like I was, getting ready to bring that helmet and hit him.
Yeah.
Not that big. I said, "Now that's football."
Football.
But they just hung up on that, and there's a lot of factors that keep us in fear of our kids going out alone. We need to be out there with them.
With them, yeah.
We don't need to let them walk nowhere.
Yeah.
But inside the house, but when they go out, like walking to the store and walk to the park, and all those days are gone.
I'm glad you said that.
parenting is a hell of a job, and people need to do it.
Yeah.
And I take from Malcolm saying, parent by any means necessary.
Yeah.
We have to be on top of our kids and the situation like my youngest daughter knew that she couldn't spend the night at nobody's house. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what them people doing in their house, but I know
That's right.
And she went to school, with some white kids, some Asian kids, and their parents just said, "Oh, your dad, he's really prejudiced." They ain't that. They said, "I don't know what y'all doing up in there."
Right.
So, parenting is a thing that we have to do. I didn't see the movie, The Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
Yeah.
Comment on that, but I know this love thing. There's all different types of love that exists, and I think we've gotten caught up in this romanticism, of this European of what love is. I know I was talking to a sister. She said, "Oh, I love you with all your heart." I said, "Sister, let me tell you something. The heart don't do nothing but pump blood. That's you talking about. The love happens in your brain. It ain't got nothing to do with your heart. That's just something that we, got from these folks that we've been learning all this other stuff from." But anyway, hopefully one day I will have a chance to look at the movie.
I think you will love it. I'm telling you. Everybody I put it on. At first they kind of like, what? Then they call me like, God. They be like, man. Yep, the version 1978 version. Yeah.
He said, okay, I knew it was an old movie.
Yep. The original was 56. Yeah.
Okay, so I want to look at the 1970 something version.
Please, brother, please.
And thinking of movies, when the pandemic first started, the first movie came to my mind was a Three the Hard Way.
Oh, with Jim Brown.
Yeah, man. I said, these folks really trying to kill us now with this stuff that's out here. And I'm still waiting on the truth to come out about that.
Three the Hard Way. That was that Jim Brown and Fred Williams? Wait.
And Fred Williams.
Fred Williams, there you go, yeah.
And Jim Kelly.
And Jim Kelly, yeah.
Yeah, the neo-Nazis was putting a poison in the water around in black urban areas that only kill black people. That's what it was about.
Yeah, my mom took me to see that movie. We had to wait. We didn't have much money. We waited till it came at the what's the name theater, the theater where they show all the movies from 5 years ago. I was a kid.
Yeah, that was one of the good ones. I liked that one. I liked what's that? As a matter of fact, I used to show those movies, to my students. Movies like that. I showed Dry White Season. I showed Spook Set by the Door.
Yeah.
All my kids, all that.
Since you mentioned that, Spook Set by the Door. I saw when I saw the film, like Rob was saying, someone like a comedian or a writer, they could look at something and they can see something that the average person may not have saw. And then when you initially you like, huh? And then when they break it down, you go, okay, wow. The Spook Who Sat by the Door, it took place in Chicago, and he played his way all the way, to CIA and everything. And then when he comes back, he, trained them on how to, what he learned, and go back to his old gang and this and that, blah, blah, blah. And then they show him with this particular woman. I think she was a working girl, the sister. She passed away recently. I forgot the actress name that was in the movie with him. Keep tabs on him, and then he has a brother that sells him out. And in real life, the last name that brother's last name is Cook. I forgot his first name. He even looks like Sam Cooke a little bit. When you do the homework on Sam Cooke, because they was trying to cast me for a Red Fox role, and whenever I get up for a role, I try my best to study everything around that. And Sam Cooke fell in my lap, and I found out it's my dad's favorite singer. Now that's my favorite singer. So anyway, I started to learn that what was happening to the spook that sat by the door in that film, if you do the homework on Sam Cooke, that really happened to him. He was trying to infiltrate the industry. And he's from Chicago, and it took place in Chicago. And one of his guys turned on him and said in the film towards the end of the movie, Spook sat by the door, he had told him, I knew, he was talking about his fancy wine and his clothes and his fancy cars. All of that, and you smiling in people's faces was a gimmick. Well, when you do homework on Sam Cooke, you find that out to be true too. When he gets on national TV smiling and all this, not knowing Sam Cooke was actually a business revolutionist. So now, if we look at that movie again, you'll see similarities to Sam Cooke and then Spook sat by the door. Not the real guy, but the character in the film. His last name is in real life is Cooke. He looked like Sam Cooke. So I'm saying there's from the metaphysical perspective, there's no such thing as coincidence.
Now the metaphysical, that's the subject I'm tapping into currently. Yeah. That's an area we need to go.
Yeah.
I wish I knew it, like I know the history down here. I wish I knew, all of the stuff that's going on up there. I was sharing that with with the host of the show on another occasion. But I'm definitely dipping my toes in that area.
Yeah.
And that's all to do with nature and us and all the stuff that from religions. That's where it comes from up there.
Yeah.
So it's kind of fascinating to me. And then I've had instances in my life where things have occurred, and I think back, to what I'm learning now, and it was stuff the ancestors were trying to tell me then.
Yeah.
I wasn't knowing, enough to listen. And matter of fact, there was a real tragedy behind that, and I was just getting ready to do something, and something got me off of it, and boom, it happened, and it was a tragic situation. But I think back on that now, to how the ancestors kind of hit me to what I should have been listening to.
Yeah.
Instead of this crap down here and other areas that Brother Raw tell me to stay away from all the time. But,
Yeah.
fooling with a lot of these religious folks and what's in that book that they think is truth.
Oh.
I'm out. I'm gonna go back to listening. So
No, I appreciate it. Appreciate it.
Yeah, is there some other points you want to make from the movie, Brother TV?
Let's see, what else? Oh yeah. That was deep. That was deep. I kind of Gutenberg, when I don't know if you saw that part where they introduce us to the character that Leonard Nimoy is playing. And he's this fascinating book writer, and he's kind of like into metaphysics. And he has all the answers. And it's funny that brother just mentioned metaphysics. Yeah, we mentioned metaphysics, but yeah. Anyway, Leonard Nimoy has these so-called books, and he's the know-all be-all. Well, when Gutenberg shows up, and Leonard Nimoy is giving his dissertation, he lets him do it, and there's a lot of people around there fascinated by him. Gutenberg comes up and says, "I don't see why he's fascinating. He's written the same book all over again, and we buying it. But why won't anyone purchase mine?" He was basically saying, and I could relate to that, I'm just as talented. But since my name ain't on the marquee, you're not paying me any attention. And I think that's the way that the movie, I love that movie, the way the movie was trying to show you something. Here's a man who he's a writer. He doesn't get the same acclaim as this one over here. But this one over here really isn't writing anything deep. He's taking one subject, one bookseller, he keeps redoing it and redoing it, and they're just eating it up, and they're eating it up. Then we come to find out a lot of the people at the party have been infected. So they go along with it. And here he is, as talented as he is, they looking at him like he crazy.
Hmm.
And eventually what happens to him? He went along with it too. And I feel like I'm that lady at the end of the movie. I just can't go along with this.
Excuse me, brother. Can I ask a quick question?
Yes.
Did you produce a movie that's like the Invasion of the Body Snatchers also?
No, I didn't. Nope.
Like I said, I tuned in late. I'm trying to see what's happening. So you're just talking about from analyzing that.
Yes. And the symbolism of it and how it relates more to now than it did then. And I give Hollywood credit because when you go see the movie, you think it's about aliens. But that's the entertainment. That's the distraction. It's a gem in the film. I mean, I caught, just like you mentioned, Spook was Sat by the Door. When I studied that, I watched it the second or third time. And my old lady at the time, when I brought it up, she said, I said, he looked like Sam Cooke. I said, I bet you, I wouldn't be surprised he related to him. I look it up, his last name is Cooke. He dressed like Sam Cooke. And he's known for being with call girls. And his agenda was to infiltrate the CIA. And Sam Cooke was doing that with his music, from a business standpoint, and his music. And he had to get knocked off. So, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, man. And you get a chance. I know we saw it, but get a chance. It's free. Watch it. Watch Spook was Sat by the Door again.
I will. I have it on DVD.
Mm-hmm. And then when you look at the story of Sam Cooke and then look at it again, it'll blow you away. And then he happens to be in Chicago, and Sam Cooke's from Chicago. That's where metaphysics meets. And because there's no such thing as coincidence. There's no such thing as coincidence at all. At all. But I just hope, I'm sorry.
What's your take on this brother, Phil Valentine?
He loves to use the biggest words you can ever find in the dictionary. He has the scholastic understanding of the pyramid of the Mutinex and the vortex. He's a fascinating guy. I did my homework on him. I'll never say nothing bad about people. You got to do something to me for me to say something bad about you. But I say he's very interesting.
Okay. I don't.
Yeah.
Roger Key.
Yes.
Well, I'll say this. There's a brother that's going, when you bring his name up, they're going to diss him. They're going to put him under the jail if they can. They're going to say he did it. They're going to say whatever they want. I'll say this about Phil. My opinion, it sounds like a watered down version of Dr. Malachi York.
Who?
Dr. Malachi York.
I'm familiar with that name.
You ever heard of the Nuwabians? They had their own land in Atlanta, Georgia. They got confiscated by the FBI in 2002.
No, but I will look it up.
Yeah, Dr. Malachi York. When you hear him, then you might say, "Oh, that's where Phil got his stuff from." But like I said, he's a very interesting guy.
Okay, Professor Rod, you wanted to chime in on something?
I just wanted to come in on about the children.
Yes.
We have a history of keeping our children in the house. In the South, nature made you come home at night because there was no lights in the early South. Get home before the nightfall because there was no lights. I went back to Louisiana and there was no street lights and there was no paved roads. It was dirt roads, in some rural area. So many of the kids were at home at night and they just listened to stories. The other thing is that there are three scholars that talked about the challenge of raising children. One was Angela Davis once said that all people need to go on a television fast. So everybody watch too much TV. And she said, we need to go on a fast. Kwame Ture, Stokely Carmichael said that never watch TV when you're sleepy, because it's subliminally suggesting be wide awake whenever you watch it, because it'll have you singing commercial jingles at McDonald's unknowingly in the subconscious. Naeem Akbar, clinical psychologist, said that our children have been electronically kidnapped by watching so much television and playing so many games. And now what is children are cyberspace kidnapped and adults. So staying home, you have more technology. Whereas before, when we was coming up, we played with people. You know, I used to walk to the gym, walk to the park, walk to parties. All that's gone. Most parents are so protective of their children, they keep them at home. Even before the pandemic. All this is prior to the pandemic. So when you look at the fear that parents have, when we used to walk to school, now you go to a school, there are more cars picking up their kids than ever before in history.
Yes, yes.
So what I'm getting at is that I understand the challenge you have with getting your kids out, but we've been having that problem for a long time.
Yeah.
And the issue is that we don't militarize our family. In the 60s, we looked at home and family as a defense structure that you train. Me and Rashiki, I used to open up the gym at Compton College at 5 in the morning from 1989 to 2004 for the seniors, and we exercised and we played ball. My kids had to go to school, but on weekends, they would come up. Ice-T came over and played basketball once. Richard and Willie, Robin Harris, and all the comedians used to be at the York Club. They all came. What's the red brother name, light brother?
Ronaldo Ray.
Ronaldo Ray, he was there. And you know, that's how they stayed in shape. Today, you know, we have people that can't go out because of gangs, because of drugs, and because of violence. And so, you know, a lot of times we look at it and we say, well, okay, pandemic got kids staying home. No, many parents are staying home with the kids because of that virus out there. The only audience kids had was going to school, participating in sports and organized events and activities at school. But I'm like Brother Hembrick, you know, I had problem with my kids spending the night anywhere.
That's right, yeah.
And they were trained wherever they are, called and check in X amount of hours.
Yep, yep.
Some people thought I was out of my mind because I had family meetings. You know, we had regular family meetings, like a corporation and a business.
Yeah.
How you doing? If anybody messing with you at school, you let me know. From teacher to student. Don't you handle it, I'll handle it.
Right.
You know, all those type of things. And so what my point is that I understand the challenge we have with our children, but even at home, sometimes you have to say, hey, cut that off. We're gonna exercise in the backyard.
Yes.
Or we're gonna exercise right in this other
That's
room
right.
together. And that's what Joe was saying.
Yeah.
That we all, you know, you'd be surprised at the adults that are not exercising. And that's going to be one of our discussions hopefully next Monday, parenting, you know, the challenge of Black parenting, raising Black kids in a racist dynamic in racist America. And how do you raise them to be motivated, disciplined, and things of this nature? But getting back to the movie,
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to look it up on YouTube or whatever. I don't know where it's at, you know, and look at it. And then, you know, maybe we can have this discussion again once I see it.
Man, I really wish y'all would watch it because it's not what the title suggests. It is, but by being listed under science fiction, we tend to, that movie is phenomenal. Some more things I can go into, but I would have to literally be sitting down watching it with you know?
Yeah.
Now,
yeah.
Now you could catch the movie on Amazon Prime. That's
And
where I got it.
And it's free on Tubi, Tubi, Tubi. It's free.
When you say Amazon Prime, what you just put it in the search, or is it playing?
It's a you could get it's a movie application, so you could get it. I mean, it depends. There's so much technology out there.
Exactly.
I have a DVD player, which I could get the internet. I mean, it's so many things you can get through there. A whole bunch of movie apps. So I was able to download Tubi, but I found it on Amazon Prime. So that's what I watched.
You did?
Yeah, it was on Amazon Prime.
How did you get it on Amazon Prime?
You just I went to the search and put in the name of the movie.
Yeah, it's there. He's right. Yeah.
And it comes up.
All right. Because I have Amazon Prime.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's there. Oh, I hope you watch it. I really do. You're gonna enjoy it too. One thing I want to add. I'm glad we got on kids. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, that was my. I was looking it up. My wife was looking it up on Amazon Prime.
Okay. Children. And you know, today I had to break that. I shared that story about my cousin with my oldest son, and he's just like confused. Like, why would he? If he did do it, why would he do it, or why would he be involved in something like that? And I told him, what I can say is that I know you might have went the route he chose if I didn't come and get you. So he lived in Milwaukee, and the type of surroundings and environment he was in is the exact same way my cousin was brought up. And my aunt spent 8, 7 to 9 years in penitentiary, 3 or 4 different stints. He probably have seen her, he's 19, 7 to 9 years of his life. Don't talk to his father. And I'm noticing that sounds normal in certain inner cities, like, oh, that's just how I go. And we only have love for them if, oh, he's a prep star too. He was supposed to, he had offers to college to play basketball. And when I looked at his mugshot, you know, I'm good at seeing people's auras, and I looked straight through my cousin's eyes. It's embarrassing to say, it kind of is emotional to say this to you, but I seen him say, I finally made it. I seen him say it with his eyes. I finally made it. It's too much pressure because everybody's saying, when you make it, you're going to buy this for me. You got to get your SATs up. You got to do this. You got to go to practice. I can hang with fools like this. This is easier. I looked at his eyes, man, and he looked like, I finally made it.
Well, you know, that's the culture of the day with these youngsters. I remember when I was a classroom teacher, the first day at school, I used to draw an old-fashioned television on the wall, you know, with antennas. And I used to say, if this controls your mind, it'll also control your behind.
Yeah, I like it.
It's about the subliminal advertisement of television and just who controls the airwaves. I say you got to look at the credits at the end of any show. names, and it's a bunch of jury type names. You know, I ain't got to go into that. I'm sure everybody listening know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But my youngest daughter, you know, when she was coming up, we had a rule in the house: no TV Monday through Thursday. She couldn't watch it. I don't give a damn what was on. Stuff she couldn't watch it. You tape the stuff, and on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, if you want to go back, then you look at it like that. But I kept her. You gotta keep kids engaged. You know, she was going to piano lessons. She was going to violin lessons. She was going to tutors. She was playing, you know, girls soccer, boys, all these different activities. And you got to keep those kids engaged to enhance their creativity, because, you know, just sitting there watching TV is passive. You become that way. So I just wanted to share that. And I tell parents all the time that got young kids, I like leave that TV off and let them do other things, you know, so you can build their creativity.
I'm glad you're sharing this. I really am.
So, matter of fact, that daughter is now in medical school down in Texas. And then also started a master's program too at the same time in hospital administration. So, you know, she's always been driven like that, but she always kept her engaged in something. Wasn't no free time.
I just told my youngest boy, I just came back from the gym and he was laying on in his bedroom on the phone. I said, you know what, you can stay on the phone. But by 7 o'clock, I need a paragraph explaining 3 pages from a particular book I told him to read. Now you got 2 hours to figure that out. I come back 30 minutes, he's still thinking. I said, now I'm reminding you, I need 3, you read 3 pages and I need a paragraph about what it was about. If not, you're not gonna go to bed. I'm gonna let you stay up. I'm gonna let you stay up. You're gonna be staying up in the middle of in that hallway. That's how you're gonna stand up for 4 or 5 hours.
Mm.
I'm tired, man. It just, oh my God, just read something. If it's a street sign, just read it. Just something.
Yeah. I wanted to go to Brother Doctor, see if he had a question or comment.
Yeah, you know what? I had a question and a comment. It was about the second question you asked him. He came out, you were about the movie.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can remember the second answer you gave, because I wanted you to repeat that because it sounded familiar. You was talking about something about a guy and he was always in the forefront, or he was doing something. Another guy was behind the scene or knew just as much as him.
Yeah.
Tell that story again.
Okay, now this
that part again about the movie.
Yeah, this is in the film. Well, they go to a party where it's like a book party where this particular individual is played by Leonard Nimoy. He's this fantastic, like, philosophical guy that writes books, and they were supposed to meet there and share with them about, I'm sorry, let me say it like this. The individuals that's starting to feel like the people are not normal, she keeps expressing this to Kiefer. And he says, I know someone who may be able to help you. He's doing a book signing party. So when they go to the book signing party, he's surrounded around, I guess you would consider him his admirers of his book writing style, and he's supposed to know everything. And Gutenberg, he's not really feeling this dude, not because he's like hating on him. He studied him and he's realizing, yo, man, this dude ain't right. He's writing the same stuff and everybody's eating it up. It took me a whole year to write this and nobody's paying attention to it. As if to say, I'm saying same thing he's saying, but since he's famous, you choose to listen to him. But I figured out his pattern. His pattern is he got y'all under some sort of spell because he's famous.
Yeah. You know what? That sounds like Dr. Fauci.
Okay.
Yeah, it sounds like Dr. Fauci. Man.
Oh, wow.
He's all up in this, and you got people behind this saying, like, wait a minute, man. You know, I know what you're saying, but it was kind of coincident that Dr. Fauci has been the lead doctor of every virus that's been coming out for the last, 15, 20 years. He's been that lead guy that discovers a cure or a vaccine. He's always noticed something. And you had these couple other doctors behind the scene, like you just said. Wait a minute, man.
Wow.
Why y'all paying attention more to him? And you see how famous this guy's got? Is the what you just said, man, just sounds like Dr. Fauci, man.
That's what I'm saying. How you
situation, yeah.
But look how you connected that. Now I'm thinking like, wow, because in the film, this dude could do no wrong. Oh, he had all the answers.
Right. Dr. Fauci cannot do no wrong and has all the answers.
Well,
I'm gonna watch it again now. I'm gonna watch it again. Now you got me want to watch the movie. I'm telling y'all about it again.
All right, Hendrick, you was gonna say something?
well, I'll talk about Dr. Fauci. You know, he should have all the answers since he's the one that invented half that stuff in the first place. Talking about, which was out there early, you know, when the virus first broke, by Dr. Buttar and the white woman that was on that science team that they put in federal pen for 5 years.
Right. Yeah, right. You got it. You got it. That's it, man. That's right. That's right. I mean, the story you just told, man, matches that so perfectly. Wow. Now I gotta go watch the movie again.
But Brother Smiley, kind of getting back to your nephew or cousin,
Yeah.
allegedly did the crime. You know, I found in my last 20 years of working, been retired for 5.
Yeah.
And your cousin said that he finally made it.
That's the look he had in his eyes.
Well, that look, well, in at least around the area that I work, you can have a brother that just got out of college for 4 years on one side of the street, and a brother just got out the pen for 4 years on the other side of the street, walking. And all the young ladies run to the one who just got out the pen. The brother just got out of college, can't get the time of day. That's one thing that makes it so attractive to these youngsters. Then another thing, I was doing a survey with some POs, and about 80% of our youngsters that's doing time got involved because they were following someone else. It's not something that they decided to do on their own. They were following, you know, someone else.
Yeah.
And caught up and end up being locked up.
Yeah.
That's just some stats I wanted to present to the panel.
And it's sad. It's sad because these 2 individuals with him, they let them go. They cut them loose. They cut him loose. And then now he in there by himself. And he's calling saying, I ain't never trusted them no more. They're not my friends no more. And I'm like, I bet they wasn't your friends out the gate though. How is this a news flash? Just, yeah, but I had to share that with my oldest son because my oldest son, he's fascinated with those type of stories. People, prep stars, now they go to jail. Oh, wow. Somebody get into a fight. Why was he fighting? He's fascinated with those type of events that take place. But unfortunately, it took place with someone in our family that, man, my heart goes out to looking at that boy, that young man with his 4 children, and he's a father. And you wouldn't believe that there's no news story on him. He had 4 beautiful children. He was a pillar at the school with the kids. There's no story on him. They trying to raise money to get my cousin out. Not saying, we already know you got to be guilty. We're not saying that. But my point is, you were involved and this man is dead. And we thinking about, I don't know, man.
Well, let me say this.
Yeah.
It seems like there's a fascination with violence, because if you're teaching at a high school in the inner cities or the urban areas, you will a fighter break out and almost half the school will run to it and try to video record it.
Yep.
And then showing who got whooped and all of that. It's like a great fascination for violence and seeing somebody get beat up and all
Get beat
that.
up.
And I always discouraged the students from doing that. I said, what happens when a weapon come out and you just run it over there just to see somebody beat somebody up? I said, you can become a victim of just running to go see something like that. So it's a heck of a dynamic. And I would say that a lot of the violence that's sensationalized come from, a lot of video games and watching these TV programs that are violent. And so it's a heck of a dynamic, man. Okay, Rob want to say something. You got to
Yeah.
unmute, Rob.
This country was founded on crime and violence.
Yeah.
They institutionalized it. It's a part of their culture. Violence, that's why they can't solve it.
Mm.
Violence is deified. I mean, it's a goddess to them. They worship it. And those that are unconscious will worship it too, unless you train your children not and deculturalize them from Euro-American culture. I was telling them the other day when we were talking about racism, Silverman said, violence was not something we brought with us from the continent. It was something we learned here.
Wow.
Here people talking about the crime rising, but how you think African people got here? They were kidnapped, held and for ransom for work, free work for over 100 years. What happened to the Native American? All that in order to enslave somebody and to occupy this land, they came with violence.
Violence. Yeah.
And violence is what young people imitate. Here they are talking about, oh, there's so much violence, and they cry when they get hurt, but they don't think about, look at America bombing other countries.
Yeah. Deep.
They bombed, they all upset about this building falling, but they weren't upset about Israel bombing the Palestinians' offices, schools, and hospitals with civilians in them, killing thousands.
Mm.
Same thing in Haiti. Here's Haiti's, I mean, if you got the biggest embassy in the world in Haiti, America does. Why? For resources. But yet the people only make 60 cents a day. Over 60 to 70% of them are impoverished. And here are, I mean, if you study and you look at the world, America got over 100,000 troops on the continent of Africa. For what? Chinese is over there. I mean, violence, that's why they spend more on weapons. It's what Malcolm said.
Yeah.
They sell you liquor and arrest you for being drunk.
Right.
They
Yep.
sell you drugs and then arrest you for being dope, for having the dope. I mean, here they are making marijuana illegal, but then they're gonna kick the sister off the track team.
Yeah. Yeah.
You understand, for smoking some. And then here you are, you're gonna sell people, you got more guns than you have people. Sold guns. Here in Texas say you can carry a gun without a background check, without any training. Then I'm shocked that people shooting each other.
Yeah.
No, you ain't shocked. I'm shocked that you shocked. That don't even make sense. You're gonna sell people guns and then arrest them for using them and be shocked because they use them. Because they imitating who? You.
Yeah.
That's what Malcolm said.
Yeah.
If you want us to be nonviolent here, go tell the niece and solve your problem that way. This country shot Osama bin Laden on television in front of his kids with his hands up. Obama them murdered the man. What happened to innocent till proven guilty?
Right, right, right.
Why didn't you just arrest him? The same thing they did with Iraq. What about Gaddafi? Bombed them so that they could kill him. You know, I mean, Patrice Lumumba,
Yeah.
Martin Luther King.
Mm.
So I don't even want to hear that. America is violent, as Kwame Ture said, Stokely them said, as apple pie. That's how violent they are. You understand? We have to become conscious of that. Now, am I saying we should be unarmed? Hell no, defend yourself.
That's right, right, right.
You know, like they say, you know, ain't no fun when the rabbit got the gun. So, you always prepare
Right.
to defend your home and defend your family and protect yourself. Martin Luther King had a gun. You know, they bombed his house 5 times. You know, I mean, come on. America means violence. Every war that's out there, they're involved in. Selling guns or selling weapons. They call proxy wars. Just like football. One team got equipment, the other team got equipment, and then they clash. The owners are sitting back watching. Talking about, we won. You ain't did nothing.
Wow.
You understand? That's the same thing with war. Russia, China, they all sponsor war. But they don't do it on their continent. They don't do it with each other. You know, they don't fight each other. They fight on the continent of Africa. They fight over there in Palestine. They fight, you know, where, you know, and then when they have a problem in their country, they shop. You know, they shop. No. Brother, we need to be educated, study.
Yeah.
And be global. Don't just be America, just think about America the way they define it. Because they make you think you are the criminal. And they are the victim. Now they're talking about white folks are being taught, everybody being taught to hate white people.
Right, right.
Critical race theory. That don't even make sense. You know what I mean? They the victim now.
Now they the victim, yeah.
Yeah, now tell me when they got lynched.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Tell me when the Native American put them in an electric chair.
Yeah.
You understand? Oh,
You wanna come in?
I don't even want to get into it. I'm sorry, y'all. I just tripped.
No, I love it. I love it. No, you're right. You're right. Yeah, I read that the other day. Like, I said, huh? This is promoting hate white. But where you get this from now? You know, it's like
they victim.
Yeah.
Reverse white, reverse racist.
If I can jump in here for a quick minute.
Yeah.
Piggyback on some things that Ross said about, you know, the Europeans in this country. You got to remember, you know, where a lot of them came from. You know, back historically when Europe and everything here is an extension of Europe. Don't know that, but as America was opening up, you know, the Europeans had a bunch of their people in prison and dungeons and whatnot. So what they did was they put half of them on the boat coming here to what later became known as the United States. And the other half, they sent to Australia, which they was calling New South Wales. And you know, they tried to kill every Aborigine.
Yeah.
Brought us here to work. But that's where this comes, that's where this attitude comes from. I said, they present this Pilgrim and Thanksgiving Day and all that, but most of them folks were straight out the prisons and they had to work as indentured servants, you know, before they could get their freedom. That's the real about America. And And you see down in Australia, man, they done did such a job. You know, it's hard to find. You know, the real Aborigines are up in the mountains hiding, trying to survive. You know, so
Hey,
yeah. So I had another point that's kind of escaped my mind right quick right now, but I just wanted to bring that point out about the makeup of America and who these Europeans are. You know, and the reason they got their attitudes the way they have them. You know, they came straight out of jail when they came. and down the New South. I don't know if you ever have a chance, look at the movie Quigley Down Under, where it shows this old rich white boy in Australia. He was trying to find the best shot in the world, and what's the name? Tom Selleck plays the part of Quigley. So he
yeah.
gets the boat, take a couple of months to come over, and he's meeting with the white boy, and the white boy gave him $50 for just showing. And then he told him what he wanted him to do, which was shoot these Aborigines from a distance.
Oh, really?
And so Quigley whooped the white boy's butt, and they put him out. They whooped him, almost killed him, drove him out to the desert, and left him out there. And the Aborigines found him and nursed him back to health. Him and this old woman they called Crazy Cora, and then he ended up, getting his shooting equipment back. And he started, riding on the white folks who had brought him there in the first place. And so he had killed all of them on the ranch he was on, and the British soldiers come out there trying to arrest him for those killings. And so, right when they was getting ready to shoot him, all of these Aborigines start raising up on these mountains, all over surrounding this ranch, standing on one foot with their spear and all that. And the British soldiers kind of punked out and went on and left him there, instead of trying to kill him like what they were meant to do.
I want to tag on that. See, when I started off with the discussion of when someone hears about the movie Invasion of the Body Snatchers, you assume one thing. I had no idea that's what that movie was about, bro. Quickly Down Under.
Yeah, check it out. Check it out.
Oh, I'm definitely gonna check it out. Yeah.
See? I love that one, and I love
Quickly Down Under.
Buck and the Preacher. I love that one too. Anything that shows some brothers shooting white folks. That's what Hawk only stayed on for like 2 months. I don't know if you remember Hawk.
Oh my God, that was my favorite. I was a kid. That was my favorite, man. Yes.
2 months, and they snatched that off the screen.
And there was nothing wrong with the writing. The acting was superb. I mean, come on, man. Man called Hawk, man.
And another one that I like that I have, I show my kids, is the movie Sankofa.
Did I see that?
That was a movie, I think Magic Johnson had it. It showed in DC for like 11 weeks, and then they brought it to LA, and Magic showed it at his theater the whole summer, but you haven't been able to find it since. But it talks about this, she's a model, and she's over in Ghana at the castle where they used to, enslave the Africans, before they brought them here. And she's there, her photographer's taking pictures, and she kind of gets lost in this castle. She goes behind this door, and the door locks, and she turns around, and she's in slavery time with the slaves. Okay. Matter of fact, when she was out there taking pictures, this elder African, the guy from Ghana was out there protesting her, telling her that she is desecrating this sacred land. So much blood was shed here on this castle, and she didn't know what he was talking about. But as you go on the movie, it shows that. And then at the end of the movie, when the slaves, rose up, they had all the white people on the top of this mountain surrounded with machetes and stuff. And just like on Spook Sat by the Door, the movie ended.
Oh wow.
It ended. But Yeah, great flick. But yeah, any, and I tell my students, anything that they ban, that's what you need to go see. Anything.
And I want to tag on that as well. I was saying the same thing about news stories. The ones that you got to search for, those are the real stories. Those are the stories.
Anyway, look here, brother. Before you get off, I want to get that brother's name you mentioned earlier.
Okay.
From the Valentine thing. You know how to spell his name?
DR. Yep. DR period.
Go ahead.
ML. I mean MAL.
NAL.
MAL. CH. Mala, was it Mala? MAL. Mala. Yeah, MAL. Look at me. MAL. MALACHI. There we go.
Okay.
Malachi.
There's Z York.
Z York.
Correct.
YORK.
Yep. YORK.
Okay, I'm gonna look him up.
Okay, brother PB, any other thing about the movie that you want to bring to the light, or we gonna save it for another time?
I just hope y'all watch. I really do. I really, by us having this discussion, I know that it's gonna hit harder now. It's, man, please watch it. And like it's free. It's free. Amazon
Yeah.
Prime.
Yeah, I saw it. Yeah, it was pretty interesting. I was very interested in what you were going to say about it, but
Yeah.
I kind of got the gist of what you're saying. Yeah.
And if we were side by side, it'd be a little easier. Because we talking like this, no,
Yeah. Okay. Any last comment, Professor Ra, Brother Doctor?
No, I
Brother Henry?
just love to hear Brother Smiley and I mean in his analysis, and look forward to him being back with the program, and wish him well on their tour. I know he gonna knock them dead. Yeah, brother, have a good time.
I thank you so much. That really means a lot to me. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, Brother Doctor.
Oh, that's cool.
Okay. Embrick, last words?
Nothing about the tour. I missed that part. What tour?
Oh, it's called the Barely Tall Enough Tour. Everybody on the tour, they barely tall enough to be on there. So the comedy show, it starts in April. Hopefully we'll be in LA. We'll be in the Bay Area in April and in September. Hopefully we'll bring the show here in LA.
So PB, how tall are you?
5'4".
Okay.
But we make it seem like we really like 4'11", 5 foot,
Okay.
Got some pygmies on stage.
Why people?
The Twi. That's what Brother
The
Henry
Twas,
said.
yeah.
The Twi.
The Twas, yes.
Okay. Well, I really appreciate you being here, Brother PB.
Man, I appreciate you having me.
And yeah, man, looking forward to the next time. And we're gonna see what the people think about when they watch the movie.
Please let me know.
Yeah. We'll schedule something and we'll get the results of that. But yeah, so next week we have Professor Rob. You got the topic for Conscious Corner?
Yeah, I told you we're gonna be dealing with Black parenting.
Okay, so Black parenting, okay.
I mean, you'd be surprised at the people that don't know the laws that go with parenting. They don't know just how to motivate their children, how to discipline their children, how to get them to put them on a track to be most likely successful, how to develop ethics and morals in them, how to train them and coach them.
Yeah.
As parents, parenting is just as much psychological as it is physical. And you want your kids to love you more than they love the streets.
Yes.
So you'd be surprised. Many parents starts off when their kids baby, hugging them and kissing them. As they get older, they get more distant and more distant. Their kids haven't heard the word love since they were 6 or 7 years old.
Yeah.
No hugs, no nothing. Just, boy, get over here, boy.
Yeah.
Girl, I mean, teaching them about racism, not about prejudice, but about racism, institutional racism. Teaching them, the tools that they need and weapons, mental and weapons they need to deal with the reality of the environment they're in. Most people think they're Americans, and they're not. Only in time of war, taxes, they see you as sexual objects, entertainment, and labor.
Commodities.
That's it. And so many people are blindsided, as brothers said, because their bodies have been snatched.
Yeah.
But not only their body, their mind been snatched.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna be dealing with the mind snatching.
Okay. All right. So next Wednesday, we got Dr. Mike. He's a colleague of mine, one of Brother Hendrick's buddies. And so the topic's going to be perceptions about our life force, energy, spirit, and soul. So that's another probably topic on metaphysics, because I know Dr. Mike gets into astrological topics and stuff. So that should be interesting. And Brother PB, when you got time, man, visit us, man.
I will.
You got time, man. We here every Monday and Wednesday, man.
Oh, eventually I will.
You'll get a lot of material.
Yes. I love it. Definitely coming from you. I love it. I love it.
Okay, everybody, each one teach one. And I'm gonna say good night.
All right.
Peace. I love y'all, man.
All right.